welcome to Box to Board. Now today we are going to unbox Symbaroum, the starter set. Now, quick disclosure, I received a review copy of this from Free League, and it's not the kind of game I would normally go for, so I'm really interested to see what's in here. Now Symbaroum is, as you can probably see from the artwork, quite a dark world, and the gist of it is that you are treasure hunting into what's effectively a massive, dark, haunted type forest, and it is really interesting. I have looked inside, so this isn't quite exactly the same as it would be whenever you unbox it, but it's pretty close. So let's have a look. So first thing, you get a full set of dice. So you get a D8, D6, D4, D10, D12 and D20, and they're pretty nice dice by the look of it. Good weight to them, decent quality dice. Nice. So that's kind of cool. You get your wee silicate gel to keep everything nice and tidy, or you get your little games catalogue, which comes with a lot of their stuff. We also get some character sheets. Now there's 6 of them, and they're quite diverse, the characters. You're going to get enough to give people a good choice. So you've got a witch hunter, and you've got abilities and powers. This is set out in the sort of normal way for the game, and that gives you a little bit of space to expand things as well. Double-sided. One of the nice touches on these, I think, is that you've got a little bit of space to draw your character if you want to, and you've got all the sort of role play type things here, the backstory and friends and companions. Yeah, pretty good. Nice sort of quality to it. Shiny. Then we've got a knight, so we get a fighty person. Imagine the witch hunter's quite fighty, I would imagine. Yeah, they're accurate. Treasure hunter, who is very cunning by the look of it. Which is, yeah, a theurg. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Okay, so that's, it looks like there's some kind of maybe priest type character. I don't know the world very well. Oh, they got holy aura, yeah. So they're kind of like your priest type character. Wizard, who is, you know, magic user, and then we've got a bodyguard. So you've got a nice mix there. You've got, you know, you've got your fighty people, you've got your magic users, you've got sort of somewhere in between, and other skills. Now this, I think, is one of the best bits of the box, I think, is the maps. I think they're absolutely awesome, and really, to be honest, this is where it starts to get really interesting. So this map is of Thistlehold. It's really nice quality, it's really good fit card, it's very well laid out. You've got lots of different places. I can't see all of those being involved in the missions for the starter set, or for the starter, so you've got some stuff that you can run with. This is not going to be a one-hit wonder. You're going to use this again, and it's made in such a way that you can. On the other side, you've got Ambria and Davakar, the map covering the known parts of it. So this is another sort of, this is like the world that you're inhabiting, which is nice, and you've got that sort of, all the different bits to it. So this is something that I think is quite a strength. Is this map in particular, I really like this. I think this is useful, and will be useful for quite a while. It's not gonna, you're gonna use this and keep this, which is great. So something about a good starter set is there's always something about it that you go away going, that's going to be used over and over and over again. Then we have the more sort of campaign specific things as far as the map goes. So we've got the scale of this one is 45 meters, so it's closing in on, I would imagine, some kind of tower, castle, keep in the game, which is good. And on the other side we have this, which is, although it's only specific to one mission, I would imagine, it's beautiful. It really is. It's such a gorgeous little piece of art and a nice touch. It just gives you a sense of depth. You know, just it immerses you in that world more. and it's at such a scale that you could put tokens on that quite happily, or even little figures to show where they are, and what's going on, and keep track of things. So I think that's just awesome. I'm just going to let you have a look at that because I think it's beautiful. Great inclusion. Yeah. So then let's have a look at the rule books. So you get two, and one is really aimed at the player and one's really aimed at the DM. So let's have a look at the player one first, the starter rules. The artwork in this is unnerving, dark, foreboding, and awesome. It really is. I think it's so well done. The layout is really clear. You've got a nice mix of things going on here. You've got the whole, this is something that a player can pick up and find out lots about. So it tells you about the world enough as a player that you'll be able to play in it and understand it and kind of get into it. And you've got this explorer's license, whatever that is. So I think that the impression I have is you're trying to explore into this uncivilized, barbaric and haunted region called Davakar is kind of what I think it is. But the artwork is the standout here. It's really nice, really gorgeous. It's not my aesthetic, but it's still darn well done. I mean, that's an awesome image. I think that, I'm just going to turn that so you can see it a bit better in the camera. I mean, that's just a fantastic image. It's the kind of thing you would want on your wall. You could put that on the wall quite happily. It's beautiful. The player characters, you can see a bit about them, and again, they're really interesting. Who's missing there actually? So there's a rogue. I don't know who's missing. Because those are slightly a witch hunter and warrior, which is a knight. And then you've got your wizard, your theurg, if that's how you pronounce it, treasure hunter, and there's not the bodyguard. There's not a bodyguard there. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know what that is. Then you get abilities, it tells you what you need to know, and it's not an overwhelming amount because you understand about your head that actually there's going to be a lot more going on than this in the core book. Because actually that's a ridiculous, that's about 5 pages of abilities. There should be more abilities than that, but those are the ones that are specifically named, so they're not overwhelming you with stuff. This is pre-gen, so there are 3 of 5 races featured in the core rulebook, and they tell you then that there's 2 others, human, barbarian and changeling, and there's even more options in the advanced player's guide. And you can play troll, dwarf and undead. Wow, okay. And it tells you then about about the characters that you've got in the starter. It tells you what you need to know for them. So the aim here is not to overwhelm you. And then a bit about traits, again the ones that are specific to the game that you're going to play and the characters you've got. So I think from a point of view of a starter, it's doing what a starter needs to. It's giving you enough depth to immerse you in the world, but it's not overwhelming you with it. It's not asking for a massive investment because your starter is really trying out the game, seeing if you like it, if you love it, if you're going to invest more time in it, and I think that's really good. So then they do a bit about combat. That can't be all there is for combat. I mean, that's a really... okay, so they do not cover all situations you may encounter in the world of Symbaroum, and there's additional ones, such as blind fighting, line of sight, flanking and taking advantage. So there's some other bits that can be added into it, but actually even for a starter, I've seen starters with a lot more combat rules than that. And this game has a reputation for being quite slick and quite easy to play. So really this kind of I find extremely useful. A quick guide for combat, I think that's brilliant. I wish there were a few more games that did that, because combat's one of those things that you want to be fluid, exciting and sharp, and it's good that they've put that in there because it means that you can sort of keep it that way. And there's a bit of other rules which is really nice actually. the impression I have of this then is that this is in terms of the starter, this is a well thought through starter book for players. This has been thought through carefully. What do they need? What will help them in this mission, or in these missions? And instead of trying to make it, you know, overwhelming, they've trimmed away anything that wasn't of use, which I think is fantastic. And even going down to explain the character sheet, that's really good actually. I like that a lot. I think it's well thought through, that starter rule, because I could give that to somebody and they could go through that in an evening and not be overwhelmed by it and know what they've got to do. That's awesome. And picking up on that again, whenever we look at the setting and adventures, which is really aimed at the GM, what we've got here, again, we've got this beautiful art, which is clever and very, very dark. And then we get the introduction. I love this bit, and I have to say this. So I think this is my favourite thing in a lot of ways, is how well they've done. A lot of games do this. They say, right, the role of the GM, but this is done really well. It's been really thought through. They've got a bit what you do before the session, they've got a bit during the session, they've got a bit after the session. And actually, it's clear, it's precise, and it gives you a flavour and a feel, and it's clear guidance, but it is guidance, but it gives you a bit of leeway, a bit of wiggle room as a GM. And I think if you're a new GM, this is particularly helpful. And if you're an old GM, you'd want to read through this, because it helps you to get the flavour of this game. But they've really thought it through here, and it's superb, because this is an area that sometimes is a bit of a bolt-on in some games, to be honest. And you've read one, you can read them all. This is well done. I think this is superbly well done, and I think it's very, very useful. So if you are getting this game, if you're interested in this game as a GM, this is going to help in the starter pack. Then you've got a bit about Thistlehold, which is placed on the map, and you've actually got a lot about Thistlehold. You know, and you've got a copy of the map yourself, so you can find things in advance, and then put the map in the middle of the party and point them out really easily. You've got a nice explanation of sort of what's going on, and then you've got the bit about expeditions and guidelines on how to handle travel and excavations in the forest of Davakar, and you've got a whole sort of bit about orientation and how to, you know, what's going on, and another copy of that map on the other side, items that are found, and then a bit about monsters, and quite a few different monsters actually, and quite a few different cultural beings, and, you know, things that you'll see, and I think this is very, very well thought through. I think what's interesting is you've got adventure locations. There's a bit more flexibility. This isn't a one step, next step kind of game. This is you're gonna have a little bit of flexibility as GM. Your party are going to have some flexibility. They're going to come to these places, and these are the things. These are the people or creatures they're going to encounter, and the situations they're going to encounter. It's quite a flexible game. It's not linear. Is my impression. I may be completely wrong about that. So you get 2 adventure locations, 2 things to find, 2 things to do. This isn't a D&D clone at all. It's a very different beast, and you can see the Tower of Ifrarda, and a bit about, you know, who's there and what's going on, and there's these locations that you can try and find things in, and special things that you can find. Now that's interesting, because there's not a copy of that map in, and in some ways I'd quite like a copy of that map, because if that would have been helpful, and I didn't spot one in there. But that's the only thing that hasn't been perfect so far, and I'm looking at it going, in the grander scheme of things, that's pretty darn good. So I mean, it's a really nice, really well thought through starter set, and it's a game that's been around since 2016. I mean, here's some quotes about simple system and rich setting, thick with dark and evocative imagery makes a worthy consideration for new and experienced gamers alike. All in all, a stunning piece of work. It's all the sophistication of 13th Age, the mechanical beauty of Dungeon World, and the dark attractiveness of Warhammer Fantasy in a comprehensive and elegant game. You've got if you're interested in this world, I would pick this up. I think this is a really good starter set. It's been well thought through. It's been well executed. There's everything you need to run with, and you're going to reference it again. You're going to use these components, quite a few of them again. It's a really good introduction to this world to check it out with your party. The other thing that stands out about it is very much a dark fantasy, so just be aware of that. It's not a fluffy game, and it's not fluffy, but there's a lot of fluff to it, but it's got a foreboding atmosphere to it. The artwork is set in the tone. It's very much the kind of game that you're going to want to think, you know, some parts you're going to love. What is interesting about it is, as well as all of that, this is a world that's been around since 2016, so there's lots of stuff that you can get into with it if you want to. There's lots of books out there for it. There's lots of missions out there for it. So it's not a game that's been, how am I going to put this? It's just starting out. You get the start, and you've got to wait 3 months before you get anything else, and you can play more of it. You're going to have there's resources available to you, which is really good. So if this is the way Free League are going to be doing starter boxes, I am very, very excited, because this is a beautiful, clever, well thought through starter box. It does exactly what you want it to do, and trims away anything that would get in the way of that. So I think that's an awesome starter box. Well done, and thank you for sending it to me. It's not a game I would normally look at. It's a bit too dark for me, but it's still a beautiful and well executed game, and I honestly have to say well done. It's superb. Okay, thank you for watching. As ever, please like, share, comment and subscribe. We've got a lot of content coming out at the minute around RPGs, and a lot to come out, and you don't want to miss that, because there's some absolute treats coming out in the not too distant future. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.